Question for you. If you could have a stat displayed over everyone's head that says something about the person, what would it be? Hey philosophers, I'm Jonas, and this is Philosophy Friday, a diverse group that asks diverse questions with diverse answers. Be sure to check out the question for next week. Imagine a world where everyone had a statistic displayed above their head. It could be anything to describe the person. Something insightful, something measurable. The question is, what stat would you choose? What would you want to know about a person, and why? Would it be how much money they have in the bank? Their level of intelligence? Maybe their age, kindness, or health status? Let's explore this from different angles, starting with why we would want to see such a statistic. On the one hand, this could be really useful. Take empathy, for example. What if everyone had an empathy meter above their heads? You could immediately know who was genuinely kind-hearted, someone you could trust or even confide in. This could make social interactions transparent. You'd know who to avoid if their empathy was low, and you could navigate relationships more efficiently. No more guessing about who's being fake. Or maybe you'd want to see a trustworthiness rating, almost like a Yelp review for people. Imagine how much smoother things could be if you knew who could be counted on to follow through on their promises. Trust issues? Solved. Or maybe you'd want to know if you should ask out that cute guy, and you'd pick how attracted is this person to you. But hold on. Could a single stat really give us a full picture? Reducing someone to a single number risks stripping away all the nuance. What if someone was having a bad day and their empathy meter was lower than usual? Does that mean they're always unkind? Or let's say you chose intelligence. Would you really want to judge a person based off of one aspect of their intelligence? After all, there are many kinds: emotional, logical, creative, and reducing them to one number could be dangerously misleading. Then there's the ethical side. Imagine you could see honesty. If people knew their honesty rating was on display, they'd probably feel pressure to act a certain way. But would it really be authentic? Would people lie less because they're naturally inclined towards the truth, or because they're afraid of judgment? Also, one wonders if you can really boost an honesty score, since the metric being measured is the metric you're trying to manipulate, which is dishonest. Maybe we shouldn't overthink it. A measure like this could certainly be an invasion of privacy, since not everyone would feel comfortable having their innermost qualities on display, even if it's something positive. It's basically walking around with your personal information on display. Would it make us more judgmental of others? And what would it do knowing that we were always being judged? One stat that would be interesting for me to know is whether someone subscribed. What would it say over your head? Let's see what our community has to say. On Instagram, Amy and Sean write, "The number of people who currently love them. Those with low numbers I can seek out. Those who feel unloved or unwanted could feel reassured by looking in a mirror." Or the last time someone had a meal. "Knowing who needs food would go a long way to ending world hunger." I really like both of these. Imagine if we could use this number to really help people. We see a similar response from LCLSM, who says, "The amount of pain a person is in. I think there would be a lot more empathy in the world if we could see the invisible burdens others are carrying." Author Jamie Hickson writes on Instagram, "The number of people they have hurt on purpose and not cared about that person's pain." Find Those Dreams echoes this sentiment, but includes accidental harm as well. She writes, "At the height of COVID, the thought of being an asymptomatic carrier who accidentally bumped off someone's grandma frightened me. I'll never know if I'm not at 0 people harmed because of me." That's going to keep me up tonight. Russ Ray 790 writes, "I think an integrity meter would be a fabulous thing to have. It would allow people to see whether or not to trust a person. Maybe that's simply because of the state we're in now that makes me think about that." On YouTube, Cindy Baldwin Books writes, "This is a little bleak, but I would want to see, for every man, how many women he had sexually assaulted. I think most women feel some baseline anxiety about this topic, much of the time, and being able to quickly and easily see whether I needed to worry about a specific man might help me relax. On the other hand, it might open my eyes to a reality I'm not ready to accept." Marilyn Smiles 1 writes, "How many times they said sorry and really meant it, as in acknowledging they wronged someone and are truly apologizing." On Threads, L.A. Euler writes, "It would be a yes-no answer to, are you currently listening to the same song or podcast as me?" And finally, Nori writes, "I would want to know the likelihood that they'll give me human food." Wait, who wrote this? Thank you all for your comments. This conversation is better because you contributed. So what stat would I choose? Put me on the spot, why don't you? I honestly have loved a lot of the answers on this week's question. While there's a lot of things I'd like to know about a person just by looking at them, I think I'd most want to know how much I could trust them. To me, that comes down to a lie-truth ratio. Of course, everyone lies sometimes, often without even thinking about it. For a great book that mentions this, read The Righteous Mind, link in the description. But if the honesty number was bigger than a dishonesty number, we could have a pretty good idea if we could trust a person. That said, the truth of the matter is, humans are already too judgmental. While some judgment is necessary and warranted, I think that a statistic displayed over everyone's head could possibly make things worse. Maybe it's a good thing that this particular thought experiment is extremely unlikely. So what do you think? Comment below with your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and keep questioning. If you like this video, then join the conversation and tell us what you think. It's people with thoughts like yours who help our videos.